This is the most biased group of people. These people have the biggest conflicts of interest I've ever seen. They're not looking at the other side. They're not looking at the Hillary Clinton horrible things that she did and all of the crimes that were committed. They're not looking at all of the things that happened that everybody is very angry about, I can tell you, from the Republican side, and I think even the independent side. They only keep looking at us.
President Trump lashing out at special counsel Robert Mueller, saying that he is ignoring the Clinton scandals, among other things. And now Mueller's reportedly looking into a September of 2015 $150,000 donation to the Trump Foundation from a Ukrainian oligarch. But what's not being reported by many is that that very same oligarch, the largest individual contributor to the Clinton Foundation. Trace Gallagher, live in our West Coast newsroom with the backstory tonight. Hi, Trace.
Hi, Martha. The man in question is 57-year-old Ukrainian steel magnate Viktor Pinchuk, whose father-in-law was the president of Ukraine from 1994 to 2005. Pinchuk's $150,000 donation to the now defunct Trump Foundation was in exchange for Donald Trump speaking via video link to a 2015 business conference in Kiev. The donation was uncovered when the Robert Mueller investigation subpoenaed the Trump Organization. But legal experts are having trouble finding the bombshell in this revelation because, one, the speaking fee appears to be both legal and common, and two, it also runs counter to any Russian collusion argument, considering Viktor Pinchuk is hostile to Vladimir Putin. And at the time of the payment, Donald Trump was still considered a long shot to win the GOP nomination, much less the presidency. Then there's the fact that Pinchuk considers himself a friend of Bill and Hillary Clinton and has given the Clinton Foundation up to $25 million, including $8.6 million while Mrs. Clinton was Secretary of State. The New York Times also reports that Pinchuk allowed the Clintons use of his private jet. And the payment from Pinchuk to Trump was solicited by former Clinton advisor and Fox News contributor Doug Schoen, who you may recall pulled his report from Hillary Clinton in 2016, saying her presidency would be hobbled with scandals like the email scandal, which, speaking of double standards, the American Spectator draws this parallel to the FBI's raid on Trump attorney Michael Cohen. Quoting here, Hillary Clinton and her chief minion, Cheryl Mills, claimed attorney-client privilege when Mills herself was under investigation for obstruction. And then classified emails showed up on Hillary's assistant's husband, Anthony Weiner's, computer, who was in prison for pornographic interaction with a minor online. Has the Clinton Foundation or Huma Abedin's home or Hillary's bathroom been no-knock raided yet? No. And as for the $150,000 payment from the Ukrainian oligarch to Trump, Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz calls it a fake story. Martha.
Thank you, Trace. Here with more, Mark Tisan, American Enterprise Institute scholar and a Fox News contributor, and Zach Buchanan, the former senior DNC advisor who worked on the Clinton campaign. Gentlemen, when you look at these two scenarios, what is abundantly clear is that these two situations have been treated completely differently. That Hillary Clinton was treated with kid gloves, and the investigation into Donald Trump is, a door-breaking down environment. Mark, and then Zach.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I will say at the outset that I don't think either the Trump Foundation or the Clinton Foundation should be taking money from oligarchs or from foreign businessmen because it creates a conflict of interest inherently. So I don't think they should be taking this money. But you have to put this into perspective. Donald Trump took $150,000 for a speech to the Yalta Security Conference, which is a conference that this oligarch put on. The Clinton Foundation took in up to $25 million from the same oligarch. He flew Bill and Hillary Clinton around the world on his private jet. He invited Bill Clinton to a French ski resort for his 50th birthday. And by the way, he paid Bill and Hillary Clinton to speak at the exact same conference as Donald Trump. So how could it be a conflict for Donald Trump to have taken this money to speak at this conference when Bill and Hillary Clinton were paid to speak at the exact same conference?
Why, Zach, why are these two investigations treated so very differently?
So first off, I think you guys got to pick your story here. I mean, the original story from the White House was that they fired FBI Director James Comey because the FBI was too hard on Hillary Clinton. Now you guys are saying that Hillary Clinton was treated with kid gloves. You guys can't have it both ways. You got to pick one. She was either roasted over the coals, which is why FBI Director James Comey was fired, or she was that is the official reason from the White House about why FBI Director James Comey was fired.
No, it was an overall mishandling that was outlined by Rod Rosenstein of a mishandling of the investigation. It wasn't just mishandling. It was the fact, for example, the new IG report that's going to come out that shows that they were very, very hard on. Very much looking forward to.
I'm very much looking forward to it because, for example, it shows.
Hopefully we'll answer some of these questions.
It shows that the FBI was very, very hard on Hillary Clinton. That's the only thing that's been leaked out of the IG report. And so I don't understand this. But in terms of this particular case, there are key differences between these donations. The one to the Trump Foundation, for example, was secret. The one to the Clinton Foundation was completely transparent. There was a press release sent out with it. It was listed on the website. The actual dollar amount was earmarked to go to Ukraine to fight HIV/AIDS that was there.
I hear what you're saying. And as Mark points out, perhaps neither one of these entities should have taken any money at all.
It's for
$25 million for the Clinton Foundation, $150,000 for Trump. Maybe neither one should. But the point with where we're living right now in this month, Mark, is that this shows that there is a straying from this investigation into areas that it just makes you wonder what is Robert Mueller interested in that transaction, do you think?
I don't know, but we'll find out eventually. I mean, look, this is what happens when investigations start: is they start following trails and they see where they lead, and there may be nothing to this, or there may be something. But let's keep in mind also that there is an active FBI investigation into the Clinton Foundation right now. It's not getting a lot of press attention, but it was restarted last year by the FBI because the Clinton Justice Department turned down requests by the FBI in 2016 to accelerate the investigation, and only after the election were they allowed to do it. So there's a very serious investigation into corruption and pay to play by the Clinton Foundation. And keep in mind that this oligarch, when he was giving money to the Clinton Foundation, it was while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. He had, according to the New York Times, he had more than a dozen meetings with senior Clinton State Department officials. And we know, thanks to Citizens United, who released her emails, that they were reporting back to her on their meetings with him in those emails. He had dinner with her at her home, and she lied about it. She said she never saw him once when she was Secretary of State, but then the emails came out that showed that he was on the guest list for a dinner at her home. And this is also while this guy was doing trade with Iran at a time when the United States was under sanctions, and he was in trouble with the Commerce Department for steel dumping in the United States. So there is a lot more serious things going on here with the Clinton Foundation than there's anything with $150,000 speech.
As you point out, the investigation has been reopened. Zach, final thought goes to you.
I mean, look, I think that people need to get a new hobby. You guys beat Hillary Clinton. Nostrovia, I mean, it's time to move on. Go for a walk. Go get a massage. Do whatever you got to do to fill the void in your souls. But I understand why you're focusing on Hillary Clinton, because you cannot defend Donald Trump. But seriously, guys, it's getting a little sad.
So, Zach, do you think it's fair for the attorney's door to be knocked down in 4 places where he lived? Do you think that was a fair carrying out of this investigation, Zach?
I mean, he's being accused of some fairly serious criminal activity. And so, yes, I believe that criminals should have their doors knocked down if there is evidence that they are going to destroy evidence, which is the case here. So, yes, I mean, these guys are criminals.
Case closed. Case closed. All right, Zach, thank you very much. Good to see you, Mark. Good to have you both. All right, coming up next is Chinese President Xi responding to President Trump's actions on trade in a significant way that we haven't seen in a long time, and how the so-called trade war could hit some of the president's biggest supporters perhaps the hardest. A longtime soybean farmer gives us his take on how he feels about all of this. It's fascinating, and it is next.